man. I really hope that that later on in the game I don't have to rescue 6 sages, and if I do, I really hope Saria's not one of them. Or if she is, I at least hope she's not the first one.
I don't think they know.
So when I was a kid, I'm talking to everybody who's watching this video after I upload it. When I was a kid, I played like the original Zelda on the NES, and I get to the dungeon where you have to fight Dodongo, the moving dinosaur. Ow! Why do you have to tell me this? I know I just learned a song. You don't. I mean, it used to be he showed up to tell you like where you had to go. Now he's showing up to tell you what you just did. No, he really is like Navi +1. He's like the HQ of stupid. But yeah, when I was a kid, I was like 5, and I was playing Zelda, and I get to the dungeon where you have to fight Dodongo, and the hint that the old man in the dungeon gives you for beating him, you know, like, he gives you hints like Flute and Queen Goma's eye and all that crap. He tells you Dodongo dislikes smoke. Apparently, everyone else interpreted that to mean bombs. But I went right up to Dodongo, and I pulled out my candle, and I kept trying to stick smoke in his eye, and he just, you know, he wouldn't die. So eventually, I like, asked my dad, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? He's like, bomb. I'm like, what? And my friend thinks it's ridiculous, because he thinks bomb would be a more natural response than candle, because candles don't generate that much smoke. But you know, the candle shot out a bush of fire. It wasn't like it shot out a candle, because candles don't generate smoke. Besides, I was 5. The association between fire and smoke when you're 5 years old is almost, you know, is almost completely natural. I have to reset again, because it's just going to freeze up when I walk out of these Lost Woods. Okay, resetting the game. Nintendo 64. See, it used to be that companies would just keep coming out with bigger and bigger bits. See, the thing about the bits on a system is that it refers to the size of the address bus. The address bus is the bus that basically links the processor to everything else, like the input-output, the graphics modules, the memory. It just refers to the size of the address bus. So theoretically, the larger the number of bits, the more the processor can access at one given time. But all that doesn't mean crap if your processor or your GPU is weak. So nowadays, most consumers know that you don't talk about the bits of a console, you talk about the G-flops. That is giga floating point operations per second. Now most current generation consoles are somewhere in the billions. No, they're in the thousands. They're in the thousands of G-flops, which is like P-flops, I guess. So, P-flops. 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 How's it? I think my mouth was too close to that. So I'm gonna... Is this okay? Is this okay? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I mean, it's still important to have a decent-sized address bus. Just not as important as having a good GPU and CPU. So why is it doing that? Why does it make me sound like I'm like a windmill? The like when I breathe into the microphone or when I pronounce P, It makes me sound like I'm like a windmill. How am I? I don't know. It just sounds like I'm creating wind. Well, windmills don't create wind. I don't know. I was just trying to roll into the tree. Why is this guy talking to me? I don't even like you. You're fat and you're old. Eventually, I give you a... I sure hope I don't have to return a saw to this guy as part of a lengthy trading quest to get a giant sword. Being that he's a carpenter, I sure hope I never have to do that. I really hope I never have to do that. I hope that well never dries up. I really like that well. I wonder what's back here. It looks like a graveyard. I wonder where the gravekeeper is. If there's a hookshot in this game, I hope I don't have to race him for it. My friend says he does. My friend on the phone says he doesn't. He hopes I don't have to race him for it either. It's a giant tombstone with a Triforce. Now they told me to play the Triforce wherever I see the Triforce, so I'm gonna play the Triforce at this Triforce. They told me to play it wherever I see the seal of the royal family. So, you know, here it is, so I'm playing the Triforce. Let's see if I can get some Triforce out of this tombstone. Maybe the first Triforce is hidden back here. The Triforce of Courage. Because there's 3 of them. So, I read a theory one time. Basically states the entire backstory of Zelda 2 was retcon. Like, originally it was only called a Triforce because it was triangle shaped, not because there were 3 of them. Like, originally they were supposed to be the Triforce of Power and the Triforce of Wisdom. Honestly, when I was a kid, the translation of the opening of Mario was so bad, I didn't know they were Triforces of Power and Triforces of Wisdom. Like, I think it just said Zelda took the like, Ganon took one of the Triforces with power. I think that was the exact line. So I just assumed all Triforces had power. Cause that's about right, isn't it? So my other hobby, in addition to being really awesome, except not right now. How did I mess that up? There it goes. My other hobby, in addition to being really awesome, is playing through RPGs, where you're allowed to name the characters things, and naming them awesome things. My most recent awesome things, I recently got my friend to start a new game in Chrono Trigger and name Chrono Lavos. That was actually really awesome. And I also my friend and I started replaying through FF10, and you know, my friend had to go to the bathroom right after we started, more or less, during the opening. So I grabbed the controller while he was there, and I named Tidus. I named him Chapu. Now that doesn't sound as funny until you realize that a lot of the beginning of the game has to do with Luca. Luca? What's her name? Riku. Riku? No. Lulu. Lulu talking to Waka, basically saying, "He's not Chapu. He's not Chapu. Yes, I am."